A reading from the book of Genesis. The man had intercourse with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. I have acquired a man with the help of the Lord, she said. She gave birth to a second child, Abel, the brother of Cain. Now Abel became a shepherd and kept flocks, while Cain tilled the soil. Time passed, and Cain brought some of the produce of the soil as an offering for the Lord, while Abel, for his part, brought the firstborn of his flock and some of their fat as well. The Lord looked with favour on Abel and his offering, but he did not look with favour on Cain and his offering, and Cain was very angry and downcast. The Lord asked Cain, "Why are you angry and downcast? If you are well disposed, ought you not to lift up your head? But if you are ill disposed, is not sin at the door like a crouching beast hungering for you, which you must master?" Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let us go out." And while they were in the open country, Cain set on his brother Abel and killed him. The Lord asked Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I do not know," he replied. "Am I my brother's guardian?" "What have you done?" the Lord asked. "Listen to the sound of your brother's blood crying out to me from the ground. Now be accursed and driven from the ground that has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood at your hands. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield you any of its produce. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer over the earth." Then Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. See, today you drive me from this ground. I must hide from you and be a fugitive and a wanderer over the earth. Why, whoever comes across me will kill me." "Very well then," the Lord replied. "If anyone kills Cain, 7-fold vengeance shall be taken from him." So the Lord put a mark on Cain to prevent whoever might come across him from striking him down. Adam had intercourse with his wife, and she gave birth to a son, whom she named Seth. "Because God has granted me other offspring," she said, "in place of Abel, since Cain has killed him." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Pay your sacrifice of thanksgiving to God. Pay your sacrifice of thanksgiving to God. The God of gods, the Lord, has spoken and summoned the earth. From the rising of the sun to its setting, I find no fault with your sacrifices. Your offerings are always before me. Pay your sacrifice of thanksgiving to God. But how can you recite my commandments and take my covenant on your lips, you who despise my law and throw my words to the winds? Pay your sacrifice of thanksgiving to God. You who sit and malign your brother and slander your own mother's son. You do this, and should I keep silence? Do you think that I am like you? Pay your sacrifice of thanksgiving to God. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Harden not your hearts today, but listen to the voice of the Lord. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The Pharisees came up and started a discussion with Jesus. They demanded of him a sign from heaven to test him. And with a sigh that came straight from the heart, he said, "Why does this generation demand a sign? I tell you solemnly, no sign shall be given to this generation." And leaving them again and re-embarking, he went away to the opposite shore. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. In my working days before I was a priest, I worked in sales. One of the teams I worked with, I was very happy working there. But then someone new came along, and I didn't like him. And as I got to know him more and more, I grew to dislike him more and more. And the reason I thought I disliked him was because I thought he was a bit of a creep, that he would suck up to the managers, and he would respect them a bit too much. And maybe what I learned looking back on this is that really what was happening is that I had an issue. It was my issue. That it wasn't necessarily that I didn't like him. There was something good about him. He respected someone else's legitimate authority. And he may have been a little bit, gone overboard a little bit. But really, I didn't really respect people's positions. And to a certain extent, I still kind of struggle with it sometimes. But what I was doing is I was rejecting a part of myself and transferring it on another person. So I was rejecting a legitimate part of my own self, a respect for a positional authority, and I was transferring it onto someone else. And it led to my just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And it wasn't healthy. What I should have done is reflected on, just ask the question, why is it that this person makes me so angry? I think something like this is going on in this book of Genesis. I think in psychology, Freud called it reaction formation. It's a rejection of some aspect of yourself and transferring it onto another person. In this story, we have Cain killing Abel because Abel offers a good sacrifice to God. It was the first of the offspring of the animals and of its fat. Cain just gave something. It says he just gave something of the earth, something of the fruit of its labour, so not the main part of it. Now, for humanity, what brings us true life is by being generous with all the things that God gives us, we give back to him. That's what this Mass is. It's primarily a thanksgiving for the good things that God has given us, especially in Jesus. God doesn't speak to Abel and Cain. God doesn't directly say to Cain, "Oh, I'm not happy with you." He doesn't directly say to Abel, "Oh, I'm really happy with you." Listen to the words there. When Cain offers an improper sacrifice to God, the natural response is anger and desolation. He isn't angry and desolate because God has said anything. He's angry and desolate because he knows in his soul, he knows deep down that he should offer a particular sacrifice of thanksgiving and praise to God. And he knows that. He rejects it. He represses it. He tries to get rid of it. But he did what I do and what many human beings do. The things we reject, we just place onto someone else. And we don't deal with it. And so all of his anger, his desolation, transfers onto Abel. Notice what God does. God doesn't give him put the fear of hell into him. He just asks him a question. Why are you so angry and desolate? He's like a therapist or a counsellor or just a very good friend. And if Cain were to just ask himself that question, why is it that I'm so angry at him really? He would recognise it's because, actually, he's doing something that I should do. In our lives, sometimes we need to be really careful. Is there anyone in your life who you think, I really hate this person? It might be someone very, very close to you. Sometimes it's the case. And ask yourself, instead of just getting angry and unleashing that anger and resentment and desolation, to ask yourself and to bring it to prayer with Jesus and just say, Jesus, why am I so angry with this person? And often what he'll do, like a good friend, is just to show us that actually there's something about that person that they're doing, that they're living, that you're not. And I'm asking you in some way to be like them. So I ask you just to offer any person who you might be struggling with and just that question, why is it you feel that way? And allow Jesus as the good friend, like the counsellor, like the therapist, to integrate all these aspects of ourself so that we don't become desolate and angry, that we become happy, giving our greatest thanks and praise to God.